This is episode 16, recorded on October 4th, 2014.
We can say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Amen, brother.
Well, you know me, I don't buy it to BS.
I get paid to sign?
I don't fit into human nature.
Do not dominate here.
What the hell was my point?
Welcome to Brainstorm, the home of hardcore skepticism. Woo-free since 2013. These skeptical atheists started a podcast to help spread critical thinking, skepticism, and some philosophic and scientific literacy. Host Corey is joined by Lana, Destin, Raz, Mike, Renee, and Dave as they discuss news, politics, science, philosophy, and religion in a fun and intelligent way. And now, it's time to open your mind to the Brainstorm.
So this would be, I think, episode 16.
If we had an episode tonight, it would be.
If we were actually doing something productive, it would
that
be
was
episode
close.
16.
Dodged that one.
When you're hungry, you are a big jerk.
Okay, before
That was a
Mike gets
Snickers
drunk.
study, right?
Because Mike knows a lot about this.
No, I
That's
know
just
nothing.
a study in obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
That goes under the heading of studying things that everybody already knows.
Yeah, obviously, when you're hungry and you eat, your body will release endorphins, right?
No,
No,
when you're
Should.
low blood sugar,
Mine does.
you're going to turn mean.
not everybody gets a hard on with sugar, Gumby.
There's a lot of sugars that your brain needs in the form of neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
There's something called ego depletion that anyone can look up, see what it means online. And once you don't have those neurotransmitters, you become ego depleted and you become cranky. And that is something we have known forever.
Yeah. They've
old
proven
news.
it statistically, I suppose. But yeah, I've known that for a very long time. And so has my whole family. Because some people are worse for it than others. And I'm pretty bad for that.
Well, there was
My
something-
wife's hungry all the time there. I'm kidding.
So do you want me to edit that out?
There was that interesting study with all those judges.
Right, yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, it's they were in charge of deciding whether or not people would get parole. And I think there were 7 or 8 judges who were studied. And it was right after lunch and in the morning, which would be after breakfast. That was the time that they actually put through accepted the most applications for parole. And after that, it lags off. And they accept fewer and fewer and fewer.
And they're
The
just
further-
like, no, jail. No,
Yeah.
you go to jail.
Yeah. The crankier they get, the further it's been since they've eaten, the fewer they actually
So they need
approve.
snacks.
So whether or not your parole gets approved,
They need
Depends
nuts
on the time of the
for
morning.
the judge's gavel.
Yeah, it depends on when the judge reads it, not on the content of the parole application.
11 o'clock in the morning is a bad time.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
should get him some
right
nuts
before
for them
lunch.
to bash with the gavel. And he can just sit there and eat nuts.
One of the things I thought was kind of funny about this particular study,
Judges shitting.
I usually
nuts at
don't
the best time.
use Psychology Today articles because there's a lot of silliness in there. But this one, they talked about pins in dolls, and the angrier people got at their spouse or partner,
Yep.
the more pins they put in the dolls, and as their glucose levels went down, some of them were putting up to like 50 pins in the doll.
Weren't they allowed to blast people with sound
Yeah,
as well
that's right.
through their earphones?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Start doing mean things, people.
Yeah,
So
their
it's-
spouse.
It's sort of like the old electroshock therapy sort of experiments,
Right.
except passing the ethical standards.
Right. Because you can't shock people?
No, that doesn't pass the ethics committee these days.
And no real basis in any kind of science at all.
Well, no.
Well, sound sucks sometimes.
Then they should do a study of why people being cranky before they have the coffee in the morning. Because that's pretty much just as bad.
I think that has to do with addiction.
Caffeine withdrawal.
That's just a guess, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's withdrawal so much as just,
Habit.
yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I suppose the two are related, but it's not like you have withdrawal symptoms from something that you've abstained with since the morning before,
Not
right?
really, no.
So, yeah, I think it's
No,
more
it's just a
habit.
refusal to interact with anyone until I've had my coffee.
Well, caffeine headaches are a real thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
They get to live and you get to stay out of jail.
Go make me coffee.
All right, so hungry people are assholes next.
Yep.
Hungry people are assholes. Next.
When I was going to post this, I originally started typing out this long thing about how my girlfriend and my children can attest to the fact that people who haven't eaten are giant assholes. And then I deleted it all because
you're hungry.
There's a
I was
problem
hungry.
there.
Just hit the file.
There's a real problem with providing people an excuse to be assholes. I know someone who used to use it as an excuse. Well, I haven't eaten yet. So the fact that I'm treating you terribly is forgivable because I haven't eaten yet.
So,
And that is just really, really poor.
But
right.
But if I'm stuck in a vehicle and and somebody won't stop to like get food and they're like, no, it's only an hour till we get where we're going, and I'm like, then be it on their own head, because
It's also way worse when you're tied up in the trunk.
Because I might murder them.
because if you can eat but choose not to and then are terribly, terribly grumpy, then that's your own fault.
Well, yeah, but when you use it as a way of giving yourself permission to just freak out,
Yeah, that's right.
that's gross. I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Just come right unstuck.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. When I don't eat, I get really grumpy.
Yeah, we can handle.
I don't know who we're talking about, so I assume it's me. Oh, wait, no. I'm just always a giant asshole.
And you never stop eating.
It's true. I'm never really hungry.
What about 10 foods that have antifreeze in them?
Ermagerd.
What foods are they? How much antifreeze do they have?
Apple juice.
Well, the thing is that they all have propylene glycol in them.
Yep.
So
Which
it's
is a
not
component
really
of
antifreeze.
Is that like the subway
This
buns all
isn't-
having the yoga mats in them?
Yeah. That's right.
What was
Subway's
it?
made of yoga mats?
Yeah.
Oh, a
It's
chicken
terribly
bacon club
dangerous.
on a yoga mat.
It depends who's using the
Well,
yoga
they kind of
mat, I
taste like
suppose.
yoga mats, so
The whole
You like yoga
food-
mats?
The whole foods that have
Again,
antifreeze thing
depending
in them.
who's on it.
That is under the same heading as poison isn't about substance, it's about quantity.
Right. Absolutely. And
what
Apparently.
purpose is the propylene glycol?
it's a sweetener.
Yeah.
It
Let's see.
It's not an artificial
I,
sweetener.
I
it's
suppose I
actually a
should
sweetener.
say it's both about substance and quantity.
Hey, quick editor's note. It isn't used as a sweetener, it is used as a solvent and to lower the freezing temperature.
That's
Well,
another.
and compounding too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like oh
I
my
should have
God, there's
put
chlorine
more
in the
links in
salt.
here for this, but
Yeah.
like it used to be where antifreeze had ethylene glycol in it, right? Because it didn't freeze.
But if you drink it, you have to get your stomach pumped after.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it's bad for you.
And dogs were dying,
They changed it
so
to propylene.
so they changed it to propylene glycol, which didn't poison the dogs. So, and
As much.
that's in our foods, or some of our foods.
So maybe it's not typically toxic then.
Just like
It's-
mercury's in some of our food.
Just like anything is in some of our food.
Not mercury, but a compound that includes
No, I'm talking
mercury.
about fish.
So is ice cream
Sure.
one of them?
Yeah, fish have actual mercury.
I
true.
believe it might
But
be.
it's just trace elements.
Because I think I've
Who
heard
cares?
before
Certain kinds of ice cream.
that ice cream sometimes has antifreeze in it.
That's weird.
I hate how they call it an artificial
Doesn't
sweetener.
help. It's like antifreeze
Beer.
in ice cream.
Well,
How
it might
ironic.
keep it a little softer.
Yeah. Yeah. Like soft ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
that.
It says packaged baked goods, but I've never seen this Go Tarts thing before.
It's like
A Pop-Tart or
Pop-Tarts
Toaster
for
strudel.
Margarine.
Yeah.
What else we got? See, and these are all fully edible. You're not going to die.
Cake mix.
Margarine, I beg to
Why
differ.
we do have those?
Cake mix.
That shit is not edible.
Some margarine is made out of pretty spurious ingredients.
Yep.
Some margarine's made out of the same shit as the container.
Most of it's mostly water, though, isn't it? Like margarine?
No, it's vegetable oil with a bit
Exactly.
of water.
And
worked
some
in there.
air.
Done a bunch of crap.
When margarine first came out, it was far too filled with trans fats. It was far too unhealthy. And then we realized, trans fats are actually, fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then margarine had to be changed.
Well, when margarine first came out, it was white. And it was the butter lobby refused to let them color it. You would have to have this little corner in the packet, and you'd have to mix the coloring agent yourself into the margarine because the butter lobby didn't want the margarine to actually look like butter. But then they lost. So it used to be even less, considerably less appetizing. But don't know. But yes, made out all kinds of things.
Well, I was a huge
Mostly
fan of butter.
oils.
Fuck margarine, really.
Yeah, well, butter.
I like
I use
butter.
margarine. I don't care either way myself.
I will only use margarine for cooking. Like baking a cake or
What
something.
if I told you that they use GMO crops in margarine?
They do.
I would still use margarine.
Put that in your
I
pipe
prefer
and
my
smoke
my
it.
food to have Ford crops.
What if I told you that all food is genetically modified?
Yeah. Everything that's alive is genetically modified.
I guess that's what
In
evolution
some
is.
sense, yeah. that's-
Slow genetic
No, no,
I
modification.
have a
makes
feeling we've
sense.
had this conversation before.
yeah. I feel like this
No,
is a rehash.
That's
Circular
just the
discussions are
Matrix.
circular.
They're changing something.
Deja vu.
Should we talk about ISIS and
Yeah.
Ben fucking Affleck this morning?
Ben
not about
fucking Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
The less we talk about that sack of shit, the better. I mean, fucking honestly. Did you see that?
Yeah,
I didn't
well.
actually see the interview, so I can't speak to it a whole bunch, unfortunately.
It seems pretty typical of some people to
Well, it's the Hollywood liberal thing again. right?
yeah. They like to equate criticism of what some people consider Islamic doctrine to racism. They like to equate those two.
Yeah, and call it the catch-all of Islamophobia.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's-
I read a very good article, and I probably didn't save it, but I might be able to find it again, that was an explanation of why ISIS is being basically how it is not Islam, and why almost all the leaders of the religious leaders of Islam are putting it down on paper that this does not in any way represent what
Well, I
the
mean,
religion
good
that-
on them.
so the religion
deny
that they subscribe
but-
to, they're saying, look, it's a massive new hybridization, bastardization, whatever you want to call it, but it's a very different, quite a different animal
So
than what the original is, which is not at all perfect.
So are these Muslim leaders taking any responsibility?
Why would they take
no,
responsibility?
no. It sounds like they're trying to distance themselves
They're
from
trying
the
to.
ISIL
Well,
guys,
exactly.
right?
So how do they feel like
Okay,
they're
well-
responsible for ISIS?
What I'd like
The
to
Pope-
hear is
the
So
Pope is
this
responsible for
is
the
what it took for
entire
them
church.
to issue a statement where they're actually distancing themselves from these people. Up until now, all of the schools that were training young men how to carry out suicide bombings and all that sort of shit,
That's okay.
they never felt the need to come out with a statement. I distance myself from this.
Al Qaeda
This is what it
even
take, ISIS.
Al Qaeda even seems to want to distance themselves.
Well, sure, because the fuckers are putting videos out on